on Combat HUD.
What's up, chat? We're live and in color. And we're also on the YouTubes for those that might want to go watch over there. Just to let everyone know. Hopefully everything's working. Just make sure I've got me some volume here. That's right, all that's reset itself as well. You might need to adjust your volumes on your music. Let me know if any of the stuff's too loud or too soft. We can make some adjustments, although you guys have all volume control on that stuff on your end as well. But welcome to session 9 of our Land of the Lost story. Again, for those that might be new, this is a heavily homebrewed version of The Curse of Strahd. We have at least one player that has played before in this particular module, so there are some major changes in the story, some minor changes, and other things that will throw that particular player in a loop occasionally, I would hope. And for the rest of you that don't really know much about it, then it doesn't really matter because you'll sit back and enjoy it. There's probably at least one or two people here that have watched the previous campaign as well, so there are enough significant changes that should make little difference to the story. Short of that, we'll get into tonight's story. Welcome, players. Thank you for joining us again for the next session of our little story. Last we left off, you'd left Bereska and headed out to find the old windmill, and the windmill which you know will have offered to lay the Durst children to rest, making a, not so much a pact, but making a deal or a promise of sorts to lay his children to rest before essentially slaying Gustav Durst. Along the way, you happen across the gypsy camp, where you're invited to stay and dine, dance and drink. The Vistani are colourful people, and eventually Ivan, the leader, leads you to the largest tent in the camp. Once inside, you're introduced to the matriarch of the gypsies, a woman by the name of Madame Ava. She is old and greying and quite blind. She lets you know not to linger long in these lands, and then after a time offers to read your fortunes. Syiera is most happy about this, as this is right up her alley. Others a little more sceptical. However, retrieving a large deck of cards from beneath the table and slowly lays them out in a cross pattern in front of you. One by one, she reveals the cards, gives descriptions of each. Whether you take them literally or not is entirely up to you. But after the reading, you return to the song and dance and eventually retire for the evening. Those of you who drank heavily, finding heavy slumber, others not so much. The following morning, you all awaken and prepare for the day. Some of the Vistani have moved on from this camp, while many still remain. After some discussion, it was decided to return to Bereska and help the mayor, as a journey on foot to the mill and back would take probably a lot longer than a journey back to Bereska to aid the mayor in the task that she had asked you for. Eventually you headed back. Along the road, however, the sounds of wolves is heard once again, the low mournful howl and the sound of footfall and growl. From there, 4 large direwolves crash from the trees and attack. Arcos seems to take the brunt of the damage during the fight, but others are also hurt, and some not so much. But after a time, you defeat 2 of them. Those 2 fell at Arcos's hand in particular. As these 2 fell, the others eventually seemed to melt into shadow and vanished, leaving nothing but dust in their wake. You now essentially stand still in the road, recovering from this attack. It's early afternoon, and this is pretty much where we rejoin you now as you continue onward, heading towards Bereska and the mayor's house. So, we will hand it back over to you as you dust yourselves off, and continue onward towards the village of Bereska.
Question.
Yes.
Wasn't I hurt?
I believe you were. I had been messing around with some stuff, so your HPs may not reflect exactly what you
4
had.
HP.
Were you on 4?
I thought, yeah, I was really low from his one live. That push messed me up pretty good.
I can fix that, I think.
I remember it didn't kill me. It just did.
Yeah, I think Orvan was untouched. I believe Syiera had a little bit of damage as well, potentially, but I think you healed. No, Orvan healed a bunch of you, I know that. So I think Syiera was brought back to full. I think Ripple and Arcos were both down a little bit.
Mine happened after that healing.
Yes, yours did. So you are correct.
Yeah,
you are low. So thank you for that. I couldn't remember. I was doing some messing around with the mods and stuff, and thank you for that. So you are low indeed. And just remember, you are at disadvantage on strength and dex abilities for at least, I believe, another 2 days. I think in my notes. Yes, 2 days left.
Because we only slept with the gypsies, and yeah.
Yes, indeed. You're heading essentially northeast towards the bridge. The day is still dark and dingy, heavy cloud and mist still hang in the air. The rain has subsided, so it's no longer that misty rain falling, but you still get damp from the fog that forever seems to hang in this realm.
So what was that guy? What did he do?
Ah, yes, the shadow figure. You took the damage. That's right, I remember now. You took damage. You were thrown backwards about 20 feet from an unseen force. Read.
And I heard something.
And you heard something, yes.
So I think we did see him.
Everybody saw him, yes. Everyone saw the shadow. Well, you saw a shadow. You couldn't make out, like, there was no facial features. You just saw a tall, thin shadow, and it was Reed who raised his weapon and was then thrown backwards. For what you guys would have seen was him being pulled backwards. It was like he'd been pulled backwards from something unseen, and he did take some relative damage from that.
I think he'll be fine. I don't need to go heal. He's fine. Reed, are you okay? How do you feel? I'm gonna run over there. I think, do I need to touch him? Hang on. Oh, just within range. Sick. I don't have much. I'm gonna healing word.
You're gonna healing word, Reed?
Yeah. 1d4. Level 1. Spellcasting modifier.
No worries.
2. Plus whatever the spellcasting
That'll be
modifier
plus your spellcasting modifier, so I believe that should be... Oh, what are we? It will be, when I find it, plus 2, I believe.
Yep. I have 4.
That'll be 4. You take 4 points of healing, Reed.
Big heals, big heals.
You do feel a little better, like you feel pain, like your whole body is racked with pain.
Did you see whatever the hell that was?
No, but I heard it.
I mean, you can assume that's the source of what
Didn't you hear
injured you.
I think they talked about.
Yeah, so nobody else heard what you heard.
What did they say? What did it say? How did it
I mean,
communicate?
he basically called me rude. He told me that we're not going to have any of this.
Any of one?
I mean, I was going to shoot him, and then I couldn't.
Oh. It's just stopping you?
Yeah, like I couldn't.
But
Oh,
it didn't say that we couldn't continue on to Bereska, right?
I mean, not that I heard.
Okay. It's fine. We're okay.
Was it controlling the wolves?
I mean, it did pop up after they disappeared.
Which was weird in itself, right?
Was it a wolf itself?
Hence why I tried to shoot him.
That's about to hit one, and then it ran off. It didn't even run off; it just disappeared.
Just,
But the wolves are down here. I guess if it was like a master or something, like some kind of.
I didn't like that guy or
Hmm.
whatever it is.
Are you okay to continue on to the village?
Yeah, I mean,
Or we'll have to find somewhere for you to.
I'll
prop up.
manage.
Oh, do we try to go get some healing potions? That guy doesn't like us.
Don't think I'm going to be welcome back in that shop.
Screw it.
I
Use my
mean,
second wind. For 9.
Ah, okay.
17.
I could disguise myself as a villager.
There we go. Now I should feel much better.
If we need it.
I have a disguise kit in my pack. But we
I
should
mean, I
probably.
could sit on your shoulders. You know? Put a big
It
coat
looked
on
like
us.
someone totally different.
they kind of seemed a little bit too perspective for that kind of nonsense, if I'm being fair about it.
I mean, Puck, you could get on my shoulders. That would be normal height.
No,
Maybe
No,
a
I
little
don't think so.
taller, but
no. Let's just get out of here before whatever else is out here comes to find us.
We hear anything else?
No, things seem normal. Just the regular sounds of what other animals are around. Like you've obviously got these crows or ravens flying above. Seems to be kind of constant. There always seems to be some bird flying above, and they all seem to be that raven or crow-esque type birds. The sound from them is almost constant in this land as well.
Alright. Let's go! Back to the city. Back to the town. I'm going to assume that they're not going to stop us.
we're off to bury a dad.
So you back on the road, you start heading towards Bereska. You can see it in the distance. You can see the outskirts of the town. And it's only about maybe half hour, 45 minutes away, maybe an hour tops from your current location. And you find it easygoing, as I said, apart from the forever mist and the dreariness of this place. It's not terrible. Like it's not cold, not warm either, but you would sort of liken this to maybe a springtime, early springtime in Faerun. But this definitely doesn't feel like home. Like there's something not quite right about where you're at still. Even you've been here, what, 2 days, 2.5, 3 days now, and it's still there's something not right about where you are. Something is just, you all feel it. Like everyone is on edge. You all feel this difference. It's definitely not home. It's probably the easiest way to describe it. Arcos, I would say out of everyone in the group, you would be the most... You would be wanting to leave probably the most out of everyone right now. I think that would probably be fair to say. Make a wisdom save for me, please. 17. It's not bad. As you're walking, I'd imagine Arcos is remaining relatively quiet, essentially rolling with the status quo at the moment. And your mind drifts back to your hat, which you still currently have, if I remember correctly. Well, no, you didn't take it with you. You left it, didn't you?
He's got the thing.
You got the thing
Which
that
I
was in
forgot
it.
to think about.
That's right. We'll leave that. We'll leave that where it is for now. But your mind drifts back to your hat. How did it get here? Why is it here? Makes no sense. Well, does it? I mean, they're gypsies. They travel. Maybe they found it somewhere, or maybe they bought it. You don't know. How did you know it was yours? Like, how did you know to give that particular hat to you? All these things sort of play on your mind. And then you feel a pressure in the back of your mind, like not like a memory, something. It feels a little different, and then it wanes after a few moments, like almost like you're on the verge of getting a headache, but not quite. Just an unusual sort of pressure. Maybe it was trying to think too hard. You're not sure. Just something odd. You press on, unless there's anything else you wanted to discuss along the way. We can reconvene back at Bereska. Nothing else to discuss about the day's events?
Nah. But I'm gonna like fall. Well, sorry, not for me. I'm just gonna fall into line with Arcos because
Yep.
I can see he's contemplating.
I just
Not say anything, just fall into line.
might just strum soothing walking music. Traveling music.
Traveling music, and no need for a performance check. You've traveled, and you've traveled with these people before, so you've got an idea of how they kind of feel in moments. You've just had a battle. You're a little bit weary. Obviously, some of you've taken damage, and so it's just a nice sort of gentle tune, just to make the time pass a little bit as you continue onwards. Back into Bereska village. As I said, don't worry about the rain and stuff on the scene. It's not raining anymore. There is still that distant thunder rolling in the background. That's something else that seems to be forever present here. Just the low rumble of thunder in the distance of a threatening storm, but doesn't seem to happen. You move back into the village itself, and as you're walking through the streets heading towards the mayor's house, a sound catches your ears. The sound of a rickety old cart, squeaky wheel on the cobblestone. And as you sort of near where the sound is coming from, you look down a small side street and you see a woman hunched over a small cart trundling along the street. Not sure what she's got on the cart, but she's pushing it in front of you, almost like a vendor style cart, but it's two wheels and got a little canopy on it to cover whatever she's got on there. And she stops outside a small house, and see a knock on the door. And you can see a bit of an exchange between whoever's at the door and her, and then next thing you know, you see a child being pulled from the house by this woman, stuffed into a sack and put into the base of the carriage. And then she sort of looks over her shoulder and raises an eyebrow in your direction, and then hurries moves away from where you guys are currently standing. She's only about 15 or 20 feet from you, so like it's quite quick. You don't really hear what's being said, but she has noticed you and she is moving away as quickly as she can move herself anyway. Does anyone do anything or say anything?
It's been so long since I played sack races. Can we play?
I think that's a game we want to play, but was that a kid or was that?
Looked like it. Do we know?
I don't
You can't
think
just
people like me
assume
are
that it's
around
a
here.
kid.
Everyone roll perception check for me. Ooh, some high rolls there.
Natural 20 or 22, thank you.
Natural 20, look at that. We got a natty 20 from Orvan. We got some dirty 20s and a 25 from Arcos. Is that a natty 20 from you as well, Arcos? For 25? 19? A lot of high rolls there. So I'd say the natural 20 and everyone above 20 and even Ripple with the 15. Syiera's probably, yeah, you're trying to still make out, was that a kid? Was that a cat? I'm not sure.
Kid-sized pastry.
Yeah,
pastry.
yeah. I mean, not entirely sure. And the rest of you, however, was definitely a child. You could see the arms and legs, sort of the kid was stuffed in the sack. And now that you're sort of taking more notice, you can see one of what would probably be a parent, maybe the mother, at the door, trying to sort of step out, but the husband is holding her back from stepping out into the street to give chase.
That's a little strange. Mind you, everything here is a little strange.
That's absurd.
What are you thinking? They took the child unwillingly?
It looked like he
No,
was.
it's likely like a debt. That's what it looks like. Because he's stopping her.
Why would they take children?
Woman is
She
now
played her.
25 feet away from you.
I'm gonna follow him
Okay.
because I feel super strongly about the kids that we had in the manor.
So you start to give chase?
I'm not chasing, I'm just following.
Just following? Okay.
Because I'm curious as to why.
Keeping pace, but not closing.
The rest of you follow suit?
Do we want to order some bagels from her or something? What are we doing?
I'll follow as well,
Chicken
and
kids.
Oh,
just in case, because of the way the language here has been a little bit foreign at times, I'm going to cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay.
and I'll explain to Syiera what's going on.
It's not a pastry sized.
It's not a pastry. It's
not a child sized pastry.
She
They-
definitely
they-
did what we think she did.
They took a child, and that woman, I think, is the mum.
The old lady.
So you all follow? Arcos, do you follow with the group?
He's like, not every problem is our fucking problem. We can't help. And he sort of like hangs on the word help for a bit, and then he just sighs deeply and
I
follows them.
with Arcos on this one. Some things are just none of our business.
Do the rest of you listen, or do you continue to follow?
Oh, are they actually telling us that, or are we just?
I think you've probably gone already.
Arcos, yeah, I think you probably searched forward, but Arcos definitely said that out loud.
And not to anyone in particular.
It was just
like
out loud. So would anyone heard it, then yeah, I mean, whatever your reaction is your reaction. So do you still follow, is the question.
I would turn around, walk behind Arcos, give him a pat on the back, and keep going.
If the others are still proceeding forwards, then I'm still following them. But I don't have a lead role in following them.
No worries. So Orvan's
Yeah.
leading the charge here, I believe. Syiera.
We could just yell out to her to stop and take an order or something for a minute, and maybe pretend we don't.
Grab her and bring her back.
Do you want me to
Grab her and wring her neck.
If
Okay.
you're calling after me, I think I'll turn around and realize.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I didn't. Sorry, I did not realize. I was just curious. Oh, I thought there was someone I knew. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the moment you guys started to move forward, you can see that she picks up her pace the best she can as an elderly woman, and she is trying to avoid you at all costs. Like, she is definitely trying to get away from you. That
Why
much
did I
is
think that
very
was a
clear.
young woman?
It was an old woman.
Sorry.
Old crotchety old lady.
I said she was
good
hunched
word.
over, and a hunched over old lady.
Living her best life.
I mean, she probably looks way younger than Madame Eva, to be fair, but
It's
Oh,
not
right,
bring
but
out
young
the dead,
woman.
it's bring out the kids. Bring out the kids.
Well, I said that before the goddamn thing was kid, and then I was like, well, I've just stepped the fuck in this, didn't I?
Alright. I think we
Anyway.
need to be careful of what we're doing here. We've upset probably enough people so far. And that woman doesn't look like she wants us to follow her.
do you continue to follow, or do you stop and
Oh.
return to your aforementioned task of going to the mayor's house?
I have a question. Did it
Yes.
look like the kid was struggling?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
kid was not going willingly. Like, there was not a willing jump in my sack. It was definitely a forced. You guys can't see this in the chat, but I just broke a couple of my players with that comment.
Oh.
Great, I love it.
I'm going to regretfully and still looking back go towards the mayor's house. And say a prayer, probably, at the
Do
same
the rest
time.
of you follow suit and stop, or does someone still continue the pursuit of the older lady? I feel like Reed
Read.
is doing something different than the rest of the group.
I'm torn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
See, if even one person continues on, I'm following them.
Okay. So, Orvan stops. The rest of you stop for a moment. Reed, what do you do in this moment?
At that point, like, I'd be walking past Orvan. Like,
What is your intent here?
to catch up at this point.
So you want to pick up the pace to try and catch the woman?
Yes. Yes.
Jarek follows.
Reed.
Do the rest of you, now seeing Reed pick up his pace, moving more quickly, do the rest of you follow or stay behind?
We can't leave him on his own. He's hurt enough already.
And in saying that, with the fact that you have taken some pretty serious damage today, Reed, I'd say your speed is a little slowed as well. So, well, I mean, even though you're rushing to catch up, you're not as fast as you would normally be.
But I've been able to catch him as he went past.
I'd say that ship has sailed. Like, he's
ship's
already,
gone.
yeah. If you'd said that a few moments ago, I would have said yes, but I think that he's surged forward with Jarek hot on his heels.
Syiera would like
Reed
to
is
get.
determined.
Syiera would like to get within 30 feet of her if I can.
She's picked up. You'd have to quicken your pace as well. But I mean, you guys, if you were moving fast enough, you would be able to definitely get within that sort of range relatively easily.
I look at Arcos and I look at Orvan and I'm like, guess we're doing it.
If I get within 30 feet, I would like to do a curse on her. Curse of the senses.
We'd like to
Where,
try and curse this lady.
I would like to. I would like to try where she would be blind and deafened or both.
Okay, first things first. You already have an active curse on the shopkeeper, so we have to resolve that.
Yeah.
So, if where's my list of curses?
Can we hear him screaming out that he's got hairy eyeballs? Because that'd be great.
My eyes!
My eyes!
You use the curse of idle hands upon the shopkeeper.
Yes.
So you will need to take, as that curse ends and you attempt to bestow another curse, you will take 5 psychic damage, as your previous curse is now ended. So you'll need to remove 5 damage from yourself. And then you will need to... So what is this curse you're going to use? Curse of...
The senses.
Curse of the senses.
Yeah. The target is blind and deafened or both. And it's going to hurt.
That's a big one. That is a big one.
It's going to hurt. But if she's blinded, my thought was if she's blind or deafened or both, it will be easy to sneak up on her. Or
what is your
others.
spell save DC?
Where is it? 13.
13. Okay. So 2 things are going to happen here. First things first, I'm going to make a save for her because she does get a save for this because of who she is. She rolled a natural 20 on her save. You do have luck rolls, so you can force that reroll. You are within range if you wish.
Can I use my roll?
You certainly
Can I use my
can.
luck? I will use my luck. So I guess she has to save again. Yeah?
She will have to make that save again, yes. She rolled lower this time.
Not that low.
I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, but she did roll lower. I will need you to make a intelligence roll plus your proficiency. So just an intelligence check, but we'll need to add your proficiency to it. I don't think that's really going to help in this situation. So it's a plus 2 on top, I believe, for proficiency at the moment, or +1. I think you guys are +2. Where is your proficiency? At +2. So that's a 7. Okay. So you release your curse. You watch her as her pace slows almost immediately. Her hands go to her face. And then she stops and turns, looks over her shoulder and grins, makes eye contact with you, Syiera. And she just gives you a little wave. You will take that 5d6 psychic damage as your curse has been returned to you.
Hit me with it. I would have tried to do it silently so nobody else would say so.
19 points of psychic damage.
Oh, okay. So you see Syiera run up and whisper something and then fall down to the street.
Not only do you fall unconscious because what you hear, because you whispered the foul words to utter this curse of deafness and blindness, what you get in return is the piercing screech of a banshee in your head psychically. It is loud, it is long, and it is painful, and it drops you to your knees initially and then renders you unconscious in the muddy street of Bereska as the woman turns and quickens her pace once again and continues onward. Reed, we'll just leave you there for a moment, Syiera. Reed, you would probably not aware of what's just happened behind you. You've surged out in front. You've seen this woman turn and wave and then pick up her pace. You're about 20 feet away from her now. You have closed the gap, although she seems to be moving a little faster than she was before. You are struggling at your speed. Jarek, are you keeping pace with Reed, or are you going to push past him?
I was standing about 5 foot behind, but if I'm not aware of what happened to Syiera,
I would say, yeah, I would say neither you nor Reed would be aware of it. The rest of you would be.
Then I will
I'm
just
gonna
keep.
do something dumb.
Okay, we'll leave Reed and Jarek there just a moment. We'll see what the others are going to do in this moment.
Can I go over to Syiera and check to see if she's breathing? Do I think she's dead?
That'll be a medicine check for you.
Uh,
I can bring that up. I can bring it up for you.
Okay.
Gotta find you on my list of people here.
Are you getting in that one and like hurting me further?
Right, these. It's low. She's
Sorry.
breathing. I mean, as far as you know, she's breathing. Like she has dropped unconsciously. She's not moving. Her eyes are closed. And in fact, even without needing a medicine check, you can see she is bleeding from her left nostril and from her left ear.
I'm going to touch her and I'm going to hit her with Spare the Dying.
You are now stable, Syiera. You are no need to make any death saves. As Ripple kneels beside you, touches you on the shoulder, and stabilizes you. Arcos, Orvan, you see this? What is your reaction to this particular moment?
So Arcos has stopped dead in the street as soon as Orvan went to the mayor's house. He is so utterly convinced that he is of no help to anyone. And as he sees Syiera fall to the ground, he tries to move forward, but he can't. And in his mind, he sees that day on the ship, and
Okay.
it's as if each of the members of his party in front of him are a member of his crew, and in the moment they're dying, and he can't do anything about it.
I'd say that's quite fair. And I would say that's exactly what you see. You no longer see Bereska. You no longer see Orvan, Reed, Syiera, Jarek. You see Ripple, who you thought was dead in that day, lying motionless on the beach. You see other members of the crew floating in the water, the remnants of your ship scattered. And the large body of the creature that destroyed your ship disappearing into the depths below. And you're stuck in that moment for now, so we'll leave you there as well. Orvan, you started heading towards the mayor's house. The rest of them turned and went the other way. I'd say you probably would have realized this at some point and turned, and you would have seen much of this unfold as well, although you are a little further away than the rest of them. But you could easily get to where they are, at least where Syiera and Ripple and Arcos now. You can see Arcos just standing in the street, not really moving. He's moving somewhat, his head sort of moving from side to side quite rapidly, but he is not moving forward. Ripple is kneeling next to fallen Syiera. What do you do?
If I'm closer to Arcos, just gonna.
I would
go
say
over
so.
there. It's Arcos! Arcos! Get out of it!
I will need you to make a persuasion roll at disadvantage, because his eyes are, he's not there.
Okay.
But he is really just somewhere else in this moment.
13.
13? You think you can reach him, so you try again.
I'm gonna reach out to his face and try and cup it. Arcos, and look, we are here. We are okay. Snap out of it, and then
Arcos.
try and give him a hug.
As Orvan grabs your face, you don't see her standing in front of you. You don't feel her hands on your face. What you feel is what you see and feel is you're now no longer on the beach, you're in a prison cell. One of those guards, awful guards that tormented you while you were incarcerated, in your face, threatening you with a baton. This time, however, your hands are free, not bound. How do you react?
Sort of be still struck with that sense of not being able to do anything for anyone, especially himself.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would react. He'd just accept that he was about to take a beating.
And in that moment, you're face to face with your friend Orvan. She's got you by the face, shaking you, screaming at you. And you're brought back to reality.
Where are we? What?
We're still here. We're still here. There's.
Where's Ripple?
I'm glad you're back. She's just over there. She's just over there. She's helping out Syiera.
And he sort of like brushes you aside, not firmly, but he rushes straight to where Ripple is.
And now you can definitely, I mean, you saw Syiera drop and fall. Orvan, you now see Syiera. She's motionless, laying in the street. Ripple is knelt down beside her. We'll now switch back to Reed and Jariq. Reed, you and Jariq have tried to keep pace. This woman is now pulling away from you, it seems. She's glancing over her shoulder a little bit. She's moving rather quickly for an old lady, must be noted. What do you do next?
Reed is going to start to reach for his hand axe.
Okay.
And he's going to look over his shoulder and see.
You'll see Jariq,
and
then you'll see the rest of them grouped up behind you.
Just everyone huddled.
Yeah. So you probably may not be able to see exactly what's happened there, but.
And he's gonna just turn around and stop.
You stop. Jariq, do you stop also?
He stops, I stop.
So you now, Reed is now looking back behind you. I would imagine you'd probably turn to see what he's looking at. And now you both see quite clearly Syiera motionless in the street. The other three sort of standing around her. What do you do?
How far away is she?
Syiera or the woman?
The woman.
She's probably now 40 feet and still moving, like she has not stopped and she has not slowed her pace. From where you were, she would now, like she was definitely heading out of town, and where she is now, she's maybe, I don't know, maybe another 40 feet and she'll be on the outskirts of Bereska heading east, the way you guys came into the village.
I don't even look at her. I keep looking at the rest of the group, but I hold my hand up in pointing her direction, not specifically with a finger, but just in the direction.
Yep.
And I don't even look at Reed and just say, "Did she do this?"
Who are you saying that to? To Reed?
To Reed.
You wouldn't know, Reed, whether she did it or not. Actually, none of you would know what has happened to Syiera at this point. You can make assumptions.
Waved. I mean,
she waved
back at someone.
Yeah, she looked back and smiled and waved. As far as you're aware, that could have been at you. You're not entirely sure.
Right.
I don't wait too long because I realize time is of the essence.
At this point, I'm throwing my hand axe at the wheel on the cart.
It's 40 feet away.
To try to skid it to a stop. or slow her down.
Okay, so I'm going to need you. What's your max range on your hand axe? It's 30 feet.
60.
The-
60.
I thought it was 20,
It's
30.
20 to 6. 2060 is what it says.
Okay, so you're
Yep.
within range. Well, you're outside of your close range, so the shot will be at disadvantage. But it does give you 60 feet total. So just make a. I don't think you can't target anything really like that. It's just make an attack roll with your hand axe at disadvantage. If it won't let you because you can't target, just make a d20 roll plus your attack modifier.
That double sevens. Dante good.
It's privately rolled, I think.
Oh, yeah, I did a self roll. It was double sevens.
Okay, so you can. I think you can right click it and show everyone.
I think is it the dots maybe? Revealed to everyone. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
The double sevens.
Double sevens.
So it goes wide and short. Like it's just it's an average throw. It's definitely not your best, and it hits the cobblestone and ricochets and skids off down the street. She doesn't even turn to see what it was and continues moving, and eventually is out of your range. Do you head back to Syiera or do you give chase?
I would probably go to pick up my hand axe, knowing that I pretty much can't catch her.
Yeah. Okay. So
As,
back with Joey. Yes.
Sorry, I was going to say, because he's thrown the axe, I wait to see if it hits. And when I see him run in that direction after missing to grab his axe, I release a magic missile at her.
That's got a good range, hasn't it?
120 feet.
Don't even roll it. Because obviously it's one of those spells that just automatically hits. But in saying that, actually, I need to I'm going to make a public rule here. Do this the right way. Actually, no, I don't need to make a roll. You see it hit her. You release your magic missile. Three missiles, I believe, at your level, correct?
Yeah.
They hit her. She's doesn't seem phased for it. You see it spark off something. She's definitely protected by something. I would say you have a knowledge of the arcane. I would say you would understand it as some form of shield. And I mean, because you're a wizard, are you not? Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Wizard. Yeah, so you'd know
a wizard, Harry.
You'd know the shield spell, and this one is a little different. Looks a little different when the missile hits it. But in saying that, she stops, turns, and looks at you. Again, right on the edge of, or sort of the distance, she's starting to be obscured by the light mist that's in Bereska this day. But that grin is quite clear as she grins at you, and then turns and disappears into the fog.
I say the foulest thing that comes to my mind in Draconic at the top of my voice in her direction.
Okay, duly noted. Back to the rest of the group. Syiera, you are
I
stable.
spit her direction.
What are the rest of you doing now? She's still breathing. She's still not conscious. And she's lying in a dirty, muddy cobblestone street of Bereska.
Syiera,
Fine.
open your eyes.
Would I open my? I'm conscious, right?
You're stable, but you're still
No, you're
unconscious.
stable.
You don't have any
You're
hit
still at
points.
0 hit points, but you are stable. Before we do anything, I'm going to make a little roll in the background here. You guys carry on. I'm just going to make a little roll here because of things and stuff.
I think I want to like carry her to a undercovered area,
Yeah, which is not
and then
too hard to find. There's eaves at these, like the housing around here, these little porches and that on houses, which you could easily get her out of the mist and out of the wet.
Does anyone have a healing potion?
I don't know that any of you do.
Well, I don't
we've
think
got
we came
nothing.
very well prepared.
In
You're
fact, we
carrying
do
my
not.
ass.
Syiera,
But short
as you,
rest exists.
Syiera, as you are laying unconscious in this state, you are no longer in the streets of Bereska. I mean, you're in a reasonably well lit tent. Colourful, fire going in the centre. Hunched in a darkened corner of this tent, however, trusted friend, another of your previous troop, I would imagine, someone you know quite well, quietly weeping. Out of sheer friendship and concern, you approach. As your hand reaches out to rest on her shoulder to console her, her head jerks sideways and turns to you, revealing an unnaturally skeletal face, sunken eyes, darkened sockets. And then as she turns further and the jaw drops open, the mouth is filled with insects as they all sort of spew out onto the floor in front of you. I need you to make a wisdom save for me. That is a natural 1, I believe. Now, unfortunately, because no one else is really aware of what's happening, there will be no reroll on that, and you have used Jaws already. So we're going to have to resolve that after you're conscious, because this will have real world effects. So what's going to happen is when you do wake, you're going to have a reduction in your maximum hit points for a time. So when you do heal, you will lose 4 maximum hit points. So you'll only be able to heal up to that amount, and reduce that 4. That will last. Roll D4 for me, please. 2. That will last 2 days. So make a note of that. For the next 2 days, you are at -4 maximum hit points. You will not be able to heal up to full. You'll always be at reduced 4 until you complete 2 full rests. So, what the rest of you see in this moment, you see for a moment, her body thrashes, almost like she goes into a seizure. Thrashes backwards and forwards. No foaming at the mouth or anything like that, but it's quite a violent, intermittent seizure, and then it stops. And you see a small scar start to form. The top of your forehead runs down your forehead and into just the eyebrow above the right eye. seemingly it's not like an open wound kind of scar. It's just a very faint scar.
I think as she starts,
like
I
my
want to like
scars.
just grab her and try and put her into position to like make sure she doesn't hurt herself anymore.
No worries, easily enough done. Now, I believe no one in the group currently has a healing potion on them at all, do we?
I have a herbalism kit.
It's not really going to help in this situation. She is stable,
It's just
however.
herbs on it.
I mean, she is
Put some
stable.
lavender in that cup.
You have cast Spare the Dying, so she is stable for the time being.
Pick her up.
You are not too far from the mayor's house. What are we doing as the rain starts to fall once again in Bereska?
I think we need to take her to the mayor's house.
I would go to attempt to like pick her up, throw her over my shoulder, kind of.
I mean, you're not a big dude.
Really?
You're not really a big.
I'm the strongest
you're strong,
here, though.
but you're not a really big guy.
I would attempt to do it instead.
I'm just going to smack your head on one side and feet on the other.
You
Sorry.
smack me, I might get big again.
He's not stupid short. Like he's not tall either. But
I'm like 5 foot, I think.
with aid of Jurek and I'd say anyone else that wanted to help, it would be easy enough for at least 2 of you to carry Syiera without too many hassles.
Just protect her head. Okay, don't let it hit the ground.
Also, bear in mind, Syiera, that that curse that you just used, you cannot use again until you finish the long rest as well. So you pick up Syiera and you start moving towards the mayor's house, which doesn't take you long. A little slow going, but you do not. You eventually get there, and who's knocking on the door? Because the door's closed. It's started sort of mid to late afternoon. It really doesn't look like anyone's home.
Well, if the boys are carrying her, I'd be smacking on the door.
So you pound on the door. Is it a desperate sort of pounding on the door, or is it a polite knock? What?
No, it's a desperate pounding. It's like
So it's just bang, bang, bang on the door.
Yeah.
So as you pound on the door a few times, after a few moments, eventually you hear the sound of someone coming to the door from the other side. And Tatiana opens the door, and she looks and immediately sees the limp body of Syiera being carried by your companions, and obviously look of concern on her face. And she opens the door wide and quickly, bring her in, quick, lay her over there. And she's got like this in the sort of foyer of the house is a bit of a sofa type thing there, which you lay her down, and she kneels down beside her and starts looking at her, and she's, what happened?
We don't know. She just collapsed in the street.
We were attacked by wolves on the way in.
We didn't mind our own fucking business.
I did warn you to keep to yourselves.
Yeah.
And
There's a creepy
she
old lady
presses,
stealing kids.
Oh my god.
and
That's a Bereska problem, mate.
she looks up at
Every time.
yeah, she looks up at you guys and sort of hint of recognition when Reed said what he said, but she's sort of focused on Syiera, and she says, "I'll be right back." And she heads off into another room and comes back with a small bottle, and help hold her head up, and you guys prop her head up, and she forces Syiera's mouth open and pours this basically a healing potion into your mouth, and forces your mouth closed in order for you to swallow it. And you will get 8 points of healing. And your eyes flicker open as you come to consciousness. No longer in the street, but on a comfortable couch with a whole bunch of faces looking down at you.
I would probably let out a gasp because of the dream-like state I was in, and then I would grab the arm of the nearest person, which might be the lady.
Probably
giving me the
Tatiana's,
potion.
yeah.
Yeah. And just like look up at her, trying to, when you wake up and you don't know where you are,
Yeah.
kind of trying to
Easy now, easy, quiet. You are safe. You are safe. It's okay.
That woman was not a baker. She was not normal.
No.
Now, Syiera, with the attack made upon you from this woman, you are quite certain she is definitely not a baker. She is definitely something else entirely. She's more than likely not a little old woman either. The power that you felt from her was immense. It was a lot more than even you can dish out, and you've got a reasonable amount of psychic power within you, and it was very intense.
I'm sorry. I thought I would help, but did we get her?
Say old woman and taking children, yes?
In a sack.
What kind of a city do you run?
Can I make a insight check on whether she is well aware that this is going on?
All insight. Jarek, with your comment, she stands and walks directly up to you. You can see she's no slouch. She's not a lady in that sense, as she has a rapier strapped to her side. She is quite defiant and looks you directly in the eye and simply says, "You be well to watch your tone.
You well to watch your
my
citizens.
home, and things are not the same as where you come from.
Well, Jarek
You were warned
just saved us.
to keep to yourself, not to disturb the locals. Yet I hear you have upset the merchant in town."
That was my fault. I thought we were bartering, and it appears we don't barter
And now you
here.
are chasing old women in the street, making accusations. She's definitely holding something back, Arcos. She knows something.
I saw what I saw.
She fucking knows. This is how it is here. And I told you to fucking mind your business.
You
We're
would
not
do
here
well
to
to
save
listen
this
to your
place.
friend. You wish to go home? You should do it now, before you are not able to.
That is not a
And
bad
then
idea.
what? Gonna feed us to the wolves?
It is not me you have to worry about. And now it
Oh, I
seems you
already met
have.
your goofy little friend.
Now it seems you have made an enemy of Morgantha. She is not one to be trifled with.
Who is this Morgant?
I do not let these things
Yes, you
happen
do.
in my village, young man. But I know better than to tangle with the night hag. She is far beyond your power, that is for sure.
But
Is
it's
this
the
how it is
daytime.
here? We just let everything happen?
Be my guest. Track her down. See what happens.
I mean, she ain't got nothing on the guy who fucked with me today.
So this is what you do, yes? You come into a person's home and accuse them of things with no evidence. I have half a mind to ask you to leave my home, leave my lands. Go home, go home. Go back to where you come from.
Thank you. No, thank you for the potion. It was lovely, and thank you for the lovely breakfast the other day. And we've come here to help you bury your loved one. So we just ran into some trouble. So
Seems trouble seems to find you,
well, that's
young lady.
kind of our job. Yeah.
And because when she calls you young man and young lady, but she's not much younger, not much older than you guys. Like she is reasonably young herself. But you can see she has an air of nobility about her. She's obviously been, I mean, she is now the leader of this town, although seems recently, and probably not a role that she asked for. Now, Reed, you mentioned, you said you saw someone you dealt with earlier, or a man that you dealt with earlier as well.
I said she doesn't have nothing on the guy I dealt with earlier.
Roll a perception check for me, Reed. Or insight, up to you.
They're the same.
12? Kind of hard to tell. You don't get any sort of reaction when you mention that. But she's definitely now very guarded with you guys. Especially with Jarek, who seems to have taken a defiant tone with her, which she does not like. Whenever she now she speaks to you, she is addressing more you, Syiera, and maybe Ripple and Arcos at this point than anyone else. You are welcome to rest here, if you must. And I do welcome your aid in burying my father. But we cannot do this tonight. It is starting to get dark, and it is not safe at night. As I warned you, it is not your home. You know nothing of this place and what it is capable of doing. I grew up here. I know these lands. And I'm telling you once again, as soon as you are able, find your way home, or you never will. You will be lost to this place forever. You must forgive my outburst. I have been under a lot of stress since my father has passed and my brother has gone missing. But first things first, I must tend to my father's funeral. And then I will organize a search party to see if I can find Ivan. I will show you, I have a couple of rooms you may use upstairs. Please follow me. And she is a small spiral staircase leading up to an upper level. Like, it's not a multi-storied house. It's a very modest kind of manor home. But it's a slight spiral staircase leading up to an upper landing. And there's 2 or 3 rooms up there. And she leads you and points to a couple of rooms, opens the doors for you, and says, You may use these rooms for the night. The pantry and the kitchen down below is reasonably well stocked. Help yourselves. And I shall see you in the morning, and we will take Father to the church and lay him to rest. And as I promised, I will pay for your aid.
Before you go, do wolves normally disappear into, like, shadows around here?
Once again, my dear Reed, things here are not the same as where you come from. Things you will see here will be very different. May seem strange, but it's normal for us here.
I look at Tatiana and I say, we appreciate your hospitality. And normally, I think, I'm speaking for the group here, but probably shouldn't. I think normally we'd offer to help with your search party. I think at this point, once we've helped with the burial, we perhaps, and I look at Arcos, and I say, I think we should perhaps take Captain's advice and maybe look at trying to leave.
As I said, the longer you linger, the harder it will be. I bid you good night, And if by chance you do wake in the night, do not roam outside of the house. Stay indoors. A lot safer, yes? There are things in the night that very
Go bump?
dangerous. And yes, they go bump occasionally. And she gives you a bow and heads off back downstairs, leaving you to your own devices for a moment.
Try the door. Is it locked?
Which door?
Either to the room we're in or the...
Oh, she just left you outside the room, so it's up to you what you do once you're there.
Hey, she said we shouldn't go wandering outside the house. She never said anything about inside.
Maybe don't push her luck. She was very accommodating. Do not steal anything from him.
Me steal?
Do not touch anything from him.
What, am I supposed to hover above the bed?
I'm going to reach out and clip Reed upside the head.
No need for an attack roll. I think that'd work quite easily.
I'm looking at Orvan and also just like blindside.
Yeah, whack.
No. Syiera, do you need help?
Syiera is, yeah, she's just gonna go lay down. Like, she's probably
Yeah, Syiera's looking pretty hurt.
She's just gonna lay down. Yeah.
I'm
in a
so
little fetal
sorry.
position.
So obviously there is food available. You're able to eat and drink. As you said, the larder is reasonably well stocked. How late does anyone stay up? And obviously Syiera heads off reasonably early. She's pretty well done for the day. How late does anyone stay up before they eventually turn in?
I think I might sleep in a chair looking out a window.
Okay.
Just to... She said there's things out there, so I kind of want to like
Easily
keep
enough
an
done.
eye out.
I mean, obviously, the rain has started to fall quite heavily, and the storm has rolled in, and the thunder and lightning. So, obviously, sitting next to a window on a stormy night, the flashes of lightning lighting the room like it's daylight at times, with the shutters open, obviously. Easily enough done. Zarik and Arcos, you would probably be in the same room, I would imagine, as Reed.
Yeah. I would try and have a wander through the house. I'm looking for any books that I can find.
Make an investigation roll. That would be a 7. You have a luck roll if you wish.
No.
There's not many. Like, you do find some books, but nothing of note, I would say. Like, you get the impression wandering around the house, Tatiana doesn't have a lot of money. Like, even though she is now technically the leader of this village, and you can tell just by as you run through the village itself, there is not a lot happening in Bereska. Bereska is a village on the verge of disappearing by your standards. You know enough about civilizations and archaeology and things like that. This village is on the verge of becoming extinct almost. Empty buildings, no money, no real economy really to speak of. Like, and from what you've seen, there's just virtually nothing here. And even in the house, like, it's very meager, just basics, nothing of any great value. Save a few pieces, like there's a shield and crossed swords, a coat of arms, family coat of arms above the stairs, which looks like it might fetch a reasonable price. Large portrait, family portrait, again shows a man, a woman, and 2 children. You can assume that that is Tatiana, her brother, and her mum and dad. Things like that. A few small items that would probably be worth anything, but the rest of the house is very meager.
If I don't find any books, particularly I was looking for anything that showed any sign of stories or histories of the place or anything, even a journal. But
yeah, with a 7, I would say probably not.
If I don't find anything, then I go back and I find another chair and pull it up beside Reed and do the same as he is.
Okay, Arcos.
Marcos will pace through the room while the others are sitting in their chair, and he'll probably wait for them to be asleep before he goes to sleep himself.
Okay. So we'll leave the boys there for a moment, and we'll join the girls. Syiera, I would imagine you would be looking to sleep pretty quickly, so you'd probably be out to it. And I would say that vision / dream when you're unconscious replays itself probably 2 or 3, 4 times over during the sleep. So your sleep is very restless. You will rest, and you will get a full rest, which will remove one of your days from your minus HP, but it is a very restless sleep nonetheless. Orvan and Ripple, how long do you stay up before attempting to rest?
I would pop in to see what the boys were doing, just to see if Arcos was okay, because he just didn't look quite right. And then I'd go back and I'd just, if once everybody else...
The captain's a captain. Like, he's pacing backwards and forwards. You've seen him do it 1,000 times in his cabin on ship during a storm. I'd say you probably put it down to that, maybe. Like, it's definitely something off with him, for sure. But he seems not terribly out of sorts at the moment. And the other two are awake, and sort of you see them staring out the window, and they sort of acknowledge you when you come in, and back to the window.
Yeah, well, seeing as they're all okay, I'd go back and say to Orvana, say early night tonight, maybe.
Did you check?
In the day.
Did you check up on him? He did not seem very good.
He's okay. He looks okay.
He had
not 100%, but okay.
Such a faraway look. What happened? What happened between you guys? For him to be so indebted to you.
He saved my life.
He saved you?
I saved his life. I'm trying to remember now.
Probably a bit of both. I'd imagine it probably
column A, bit of column B.
I'd say it was a bit of both. But he's your captain.
He's my captain. Yeah, he's my captain. We had a bit of a rough time on one of the journeys we were on. So yeah.
Does he often do that? Just go far away?
Sometimes.
Is there a way to get him back?
Nope. He'll come back when he's ready.
Kick him in the gonads.
No. I do not like people losing themselves like that.
He's a lot better than he used to be.
Well, hopefully we just keep an eye on him and make sure he does not slip into that stage. I hope. Does it happen in critical time, in stressful situations?
I don't know. I think stress probably doesn't help. When does stress help anybody?
That's true. So she's looking for her brother too.
Yeah.
I hope she finds him.
Wink.
I
slightly think I shake my head. I'm like, no.
I know.
I think we need to leave here.
Oh no! I'm not meaning as in like sorry, my meaning for like that is just to be like, I acknowledge that you said what you said.
I got you. I got you.
Not as in like I want to go do the thing.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
like,
No,
I know what you were doing.
right. I think we need to get some rest because tomorrow sounds like it's going to be a long day.
We are staying here longer and longer.
We need to not stay here too much longer.
I know the longer we do, I do fear. Argos is not handling it well. It's just one task turns into 3, turns into 5, turns into...
Yes. And I don't like the way the gypsy and the bear are both telling us that we're going to find it hard to leave. That's not good. It's almost like a threat.
Well, it's like if two people are saying very much similar things,
Yeah.
there must be medium ground somewhere of a truth.
I'm picking people have come and been stuck. Oh, yeah. Yeah, or worse.
Stuck like that tavern man.
Yeah, I just can't believe we've managed to piss off half of the locals and we're going to be here for 3 days.
I understand you were just trying to barter. It's normal. It's so normal. It's not your fault.
This place is not normal. This place is far from normal.
I don't know if going back. They keep saying go back that way, the way we came.
We can but try.
Know if it's still open.
We're not gonna know unless we try.
I was almost going to say we should come here, do the thing, and just leave. I'm so worried about Arcos. Even though I do want to help those kids out. But now there's more. I should not talk more in this house. We should not have a open conversation where walls can hear.
Yes. Right. I'm going to say good night. And we will speak again in the morning.
Hopefully with clearer heads.
Hopefully. And then I go to bed. Just check on Syiera to make sure she's okay, and then I go to bed.
Syiera is definitely still breathing. That storm seems to pick up as well. The rain gets heavier. The thunder itself gets louder and more frequent. The lightning flashes a whole lot more as well. As the night progresses, eventually you do find sleep. We'll switch back to the boys. So all three of you remain awake for quite some time, watching the window, Arcos pacing backwards and forwards, sort of the room. You stay up reasonably late. And essentially what happens is, Reed, you're the one that kind of is sort of more focused on what's happening outside, looking for these things that are dangerous, as you've been told. And from this house up on its slight hill, you can see from the house itself, you can see the edge of town. You can see the old church just on the very edge. Every time the lightning flashes, you can just sort of see the outline of the old church from here. Must be nearing midnight. It's kind of hard to tell in this place. Can't really see the moon, the storm raging through the evening. And then you notice something moving. near the church. Kind of hard to tell what it is at this point. It stands out in the night, against the night sky though. It's something glowing and kind of silvery, whitish. Eureka, I'd say after a short time you notice it as well. And I'd say with both of these two starting to really intently stare out the window at something, Arcos, I would say it probably draws your attention also and draws you to the window.
Probably like rub the window to make sure it's not like a smudge or something.
It's a bit
and
like,
I'd be like,
the windows are not like perfectly clear either, so bear in mind this very mottled solid kind of glass. It is kind of obscures your view just a little bit, but it seems to get brighter, and whatever it is starts to almost look like a giant worm of some description coming out of the church grounds, coming down the hill from the church, following the old church road. It looks like it's sort of making its way into town. You continue to watch. What do you do?
Is that the unholy foreskin?
That's strike 3, motherfucker.
damn, it sticks.
In this place, who
God
would
damn it.
fucking know?
Bring it out. Wait, not the unholy foreskin. Bring out the
Bring out your...
Oh, no.
Someone's getting beaten.
Bring out your wang.
I cast
Son of a
vicious
bitch.
mockery.
It was just foreboding before, but now it's...
Oh, that's strike 1 for you, Grim.
Oh no!
You have any idea what it is?
No, and I don't want to fucking know. This place is
Arcos,
a fucking
you would-
trap.
as you're watching this, you would probably see something or feel something very familiar in this. Just watching this unfold as whatever it is seems to be moving through the village. Does anyone open a window, go to move outside to get a closer look? What's happening?
I'm just watching where I am.
Oh, Reed's camera just froze.
Oh no,
I don't know if he's still here though. He's still here?
he's gone. Gone with the wind.
Still is broken.
Gone with the force.
Stop it.
Strike 2?
Oh,
No.
We lost a deal.
Read hands on.
He's just looking out of the
He fell off.
blue
He's
screen
met
of
his
death.
end.
He's coming back.
Oh
The
shit.
blue screen. He'll be back. We might take this opportunity to take a 5-minute break, guys. Might be
That
the
sounds good.
good time to do that while we're waiting for Reed to get his shits together. So, chat, we're going to take 5 minutes, and we will come back to what is happening in the boys' room with the foreskin and stuff, and we might have a punishing event as well for a
The
certain
foreskin,
character.
for fuck's sake. No.
So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. And we're back. So, as the three of you stare out the mottled glass of the upstairs bedroom, watching this thing sort of snake its way through Bereska village, kind of hard to tell what it is at this point because of the rain, the mist, the mottled glass. What do you do?
I think I'd start sharpening my scimitar. I don't like this place.
I don't know. I think I'm with Arcos on this one. Not to say I wasn't with you at all, Arcos.
You continue to watch?
Be prepared, though, Reed, although in here we should... I mean, if we're not safe in here, we're probably not safe anywhere, right?
I don't think we are safe anywhere.
Exactly, which is why we should get the fuck out of here in the morning when there's not whatever the fuck that is outside.
Before or after breakfast?
I'm also starting to agree with you on that notion, Arcos. When I realize that you're better company than the people that are outside.
It's a bit fucking harsh.
I don't mean it to be. Think about it the right other way around. I like you more.
Yeah, but they're fucking awful.
Yes.
This whole fucking town, this whole fucking place is a trap. We've been lured here. We're in this miserable fucking town. Every time we're here, someone needs our help with something. They don't want us to leave. They're telling us to leave, but they keep offering us up this
But they don't want us
to be
to help
heroic.
either.
And then the fucking gypsies with that fucking hat and the cards. And you're all talking about the fucking cards. Talking about us leaving and then talking about destiny as if we have some stake in this place. Trying to trap us here, that's what they're doing.
You know, I wonder if Morwen set us up. Whether she knew this is what would happen.
No, my lady. She wouldn't. She didn't know. This is not. Just no.
Oh, it's just all a coincidence?
She couldn't have known. She wouldn't have sent us here. Not deliberately.
You don't seem very sure about anything.
There would have been a day when I would have believed you, and that day would have been yesterday. Not so sure now. But if we're going to be surviving in this place, I'm going to go get some rest, so I'm not less than I should be.
As I say, if we're going to die to some giant church worm, might as well be asleep while we do it.
As you discuss this, and I'm assuming you're still sort of peering out the window from time to time, trying to figure out what this is. Eventually, whatever it is gets close enough to the manor house. Front gates are sort of only 20, 30 feet from your window. And what you see as whatever this is passes by the main wrought iron gates, one of which sort of hangs open, is it's a procession of sorts. People, it seems. But not people. Arcos, I think this would probably set you off a little bit. You see the upturned faces of all different types of people. Men, women, humans, other races. Faces twisted in fear. Silent screams. As they almost blindly march forward. past the manor house and leading out of Bereska in the direction of the castle on the hill.
When I was a young boy.
My father took me into the city
Oh my
to
God.
see a marching band.
You're asleep.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Even through the rain and thunder, you can hear the moaning of the hundreds upon hundreds of spirits now walking past the mayor's home, leading out of Bereska.
So about sleep. Well, I guess we ain't getting any now.
Yeah.
I'll just sharpen my blade louder. Just like
I'll close my eyes.
moaning and metal on stone. Kinky.
Oh, I will stop that because that does get a little annoying after a while. But you get the idea. But I say, as you sort of, as Jarik, as you head towards your bed, however, something catches your eye in the corner of the room. Figure standing in the corner. Reed and Arcos, you don't see this at the moment. It's just Jarik. It's kind of just in the dark corner. Like every time the room lights up with lightning, it's obscured from maybe a piece of furniture and it's just dark. And all you see is a pair of eyes in the corner.
Oh, great. One of them's in here with us.
Arcos and Reed, as a statement is made, you turn to look. You don't see anything.
Quit fucking
lost
playing,
it too?
Jarik.
Are you both fucking nuts?
The what?
I'm going to go stand in the position of where I saw it.
Do you walk over to it?
Yep.
As you walk
This
over
is
to
where
it,
it is.
as you walk over to it, what you see, I mean, everyone's going to see this, but only Jarik sees this. This is what you see, Jarik. Just staring at you from the corner. Unmoving at this point.
I try to pat it on the head.
Yeah, its head slightly tilted to one side. You try and touch it?
Yep.
I need you to make a wisdom save as you reach out and try and touch whatever this is. 7.
21.
You refuse your... oops, I didn't scroll low enough.
Yeah, it's not
21.
auto-scrolling with the roll.
I'm going to force a reroll here with Syiera's luck roll because I can. And that's what it's for. So reroll that, please. So Syiera, you can take your luck roll back. 18. Still okay, not great. Not as good as the other one, but still okay. As you reach out and touch it, you feel an immense pressure on your mind. And you feel a force against your chest, albeit fleeting. You manage to steel your mind against whatever this is. And as you blink, the creature isn't there anymore. next flash of lightning, there's nothing there.
Well, maybe it's just this place. There was something there, I swear. I'm not prone to lying. But I'm slightly disbelieving my own mind. And I go and lie down.
Just as your butt touches the bed, you are hurled across the room and against the wall with such a force that you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam against the wall, upside down, sliding down, hitting your head on the ground. Standing over you is this creature. Just, again, head slightly tilted to the side, unmoving again, but just standing over your current position. Reed and Arcos, you see Derek just hurled across the room. Nothing else is there. Slams him into the wall. Sort of, he's upside down, sort of righting himself, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And then a flash of lightning hits, and you both see the figure looming over him.
I swing my scimitar at it. Or where I saw it.
You just make a wild swing?
Like a, yeah, just like a lunge kind of.
Okay, then. Let's do this. Where are we? Let's activate this scene. Let's get initiative from the gentleman's. Let's switch over to our battle scene.
Would him hitting the wall have woken any of us up?
I would say probably not. With the severeness of the storm, it'd be kind of hard to. It'd be kind of hard to determine whether it was a thunderclap or someone hitting the wall, and it would have been a wall on the opposite side of the room from where you guys are sleeping.
Okay.
So at this stage, you guys don't hear anything.
Beautiful. You guys got this. Whatever.
Reed, luckily enough, it's your turn. You get first shot, so you can move yourself and attack this creature if you wish. You hit with an 18, doing 10 damage.
And then.
But your damage doesn't seem to do a whole lot to it at all. You strike it, it's taken damage, but it doesn't seem to be taking damage, if you get my meaning. Your damage just doesn't seem to get through.
Oh, and since I hit it, I'm going to invoke my fire rune.
You can invoke your fire rune. That will give you extra fire damage, yes?
It's 2d6, and it has to make a strength save or be restrained. DC 13.
22.
Well, it beats that for sure, but it does 6 extra fire damage.
Which it does not take. It is to be immune.
Fair enough. And then my bonus attack. Character sheet would open. There we go.
It hits.
That would be me.
That would be you. Arcos, you're up. And with Jarek on board.
I'm guessing its backs to the wall.
I mean, it's No, it's backs to you. Jarek is against the wall, sort of half upside down, and it's looming over him with its back to where you guys were. So this scene is kind of a bit weird. So you guys would be more in sort of this position, I would imagine.
Cool. I shall go there. And I will use the silver sword because it worked so well last time, and he'd just swap out his main weapon for it.
Very cool. Make your attacks, which would be standard attacks at the moment because Jarek is kind of on the ground and not really flanking with you. Definitely hits though. Using your silvered weapon, it appears to do full damage. Like it takes a massive chunk out of the ribcage of this creature, whatever it is. But it has not turned to look at you guys. It is solely focused on Jarek right now.
Actually have it, so I'll make sure I've replaced it just for the sake of it. And then I will offhand attack it.
Which also hits. Your offhand attack is with just a standard short sword?
Normal standard short sword, yeah.
No worries. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I don't think he'd move back from it.
Jarek, your turn. You are on the ground currently, so you'll spend half your movement to get up if you want.
I will get up and I'll try and step 10 feet away.
You don't really have anywhere to go. You're up against the wall in this particular situation. I mean, you can go side to side. You can shimmy to the side. He will get an attack of opportunity as you leave his range. Which would be a slam attack, which he does hit you with a 17. Dealing 5 points of bludgeoning damage. He slams you sort of heavily across the back and shoulders as you move away from him.
And I'll take 15 feet as my movement with half. So I'll take one more step away and then I'll turn back to face him. And I'm going to cast Lightning Lure.
No worries. Strength save. He gets advantage on 16 is his roll.
Need 13.
They definitely beat you with a 16. Do you take damage still?
No, it's a cantrip.
Okay. So no damage. Seems to absorb the lightning as you reach out. Is that it for you?
Yep, that's it.
It is now its turn as it vanishes. And reappears in front of you, Jarek. Targets you and will attack you again. This slamming down. I mean, this thing is like just a massive flesh, like no bones, but it's slamming these sort of fleshy hands down on top of you. First one hits with a natural 20. Anyone want to give me to reroll with a luck roll, perhaps? That would be Reed. Reed's going to use his luck roll to re-roll that attack. Still hits, but it's not a critical. Dealing 6 points of bludgeoning damage. And its second attack, as it has 2. This one missing with a 13. Maybe that first one hit too hard, you went down on one knee, and its second just shot over top of your head. Reed, back to you with Arcos on board. There's this creature, you see it just wailing down on Jarek.
I am going to activate my Giant's Might.
So you're going to enlarge.
Yes. And I'm going to, because that's a bonus action, I will still use my main attack on it.
So it does 2 extra damage. That misses, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I hit on an attack, I can do it 1d6.
Unfortunately, that one was definitely a miss. You have your bonus action if you wish.
No, that
Oh, no, that was
Giant's
your
Might
bonus
my
action, yeah.
bonus.
Okay, so that's you.
Yep.
So you got both you see as Reed, even though it shows him much larger than the picture, he goes to normal human size because he's only a small dude. Maybe a little larger than normal. Arcos, you're up as you watch Reed enlarge himself and strike out and miss this creature.
Okay, so Arcos will run that way.
And you will have advantage with this attack with Jarik directly opposite you.
Nice. What was advantage again?
Alt for advantage.
Cool.
If you miss it, it's not a big deal. You can just hit the up arrows. 21.
Hmm.
Definitely hits. Doing 7 points of damage with your silvered weapon.
Sneak attack.
And sneak attack. The sneak attack won't do as much, but it definitely does do damage. Creature's not looking too healthy there, Mr. Arcos. As you wail down on it with your silvered sword.
Offhand attack.
It hits as well. I believe that was with disadvantage. Or advantage. That was weird. It was on the opposite side. Anywho, still hits with 24. Dealing 8 points of damage. And even at half damage, the creature is reduced to nothing but ash as you strike its final blow in its back, and it just crumbles and disappears.
The fuck was that?
Well, I guess you're not nuts.
Seems like another bullshit thing. Spit out blood.
I mean, he's definitely fucking nuts, but I say if any of us say we see something, we believe it in this place.
Where did it come
Drake,
from?
I need you to make a constitution save, please. That would be a failure. I need to make... Drake, you collapse. Where you stand. Arcos and Reed, you watch Drake as he just spits some blood out, wipes his face, and was just talking and just suddenly collapses, seemingly unconscious in front of you. You are not making death saves. You are not at 0 hit points, but you are currently unconscious.
I would pick him up and put him in the bed.
Arcos would
Appears
help.
to be breathing. Make a medicine check if you want to be sure. You can make one each, or you can make one of you can make it an advantage. We'll go back to the otter scene.
Dill's making those side eyes, so I don't know what to make of it. I'll do it at advantage if you want.
Side eyes, eh?
That sounds good
Side
to me.
eyes.
There we go. At 20.
Yeah.
Look at that. Natural 20. He is definitely still breathing. He is just unconscious. Maybe he passed out. You're not sure. But he's definitely alive and breathing. It's kind of fitting because you were going to go to sleep anyway, so you'll stay there. This effect would actually last for only 10 minutes. You would wake after 10 minutes and then probably pass out and go to sleep anyway, or stay asleep, up to you. The procession of the dead that is marching past the mayor's house lasts for maybe an hour, 2, hard to tell, before eventually it stops and the night falls dark again. The rain and the thunder eventually stop. And the night falls silent for a time, letting you all eventually come to rest. Throughout the course of the evening, one by one, I need Orvan. Wisdom save, please. Bear in mind, if you have any advantages or resistances to wisdom stuff, just remember that on your character sheets, just in case. These otherwise generally just straight rolls. I know your attack should have been at disadvantage, Reed, and we forgot again. But it doesn't matter. It's all good. Orvan with a 22 on the wisdom check. A natural 20, look at that. Natty 20. You have a peaceful sleep. Nothing seems to bother you at all this evening. We'll move on. I mean, it should have been a save, but that'll do anyway. You actually did pretty well on the check.
Sorry, I thought you said
That's
wisdom check. My bad.
I probably did, but it should have been a save. But either way, it's a natural 20. It works. You're good. Ripple. Wisdom save, please. You not so much. Once again, Ripple. This will be a little bit more in depth than just surface thoughts. So what is Ripple thinking about? And we need to go a little deeper than just the basic surface of maybe what's happened this day. What is going on in Ripple's head as she tries to find sleep?
If I'm hearing the rain and the thunder and the lightning, I'm not hearing the lightning. If I'm hearing the rain and the thunder subconsciously, I'd be putting myself back on that boat that day after seeing how Captain reacted today, and after having the chat with Orvan about what had happened that day.
So would it be fair to say that you were definitely in that moment as well? So it wouldn't have been a pleasant memory?
No, not at all.
I mean, probably the only pleasant part was when you came to consciousness with your captain dragging you back up onto the beach.
And
perhaps
the fact that, the only reason I didn't die is because I can breathe underwater. And
that
knowing
too.
that fact.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Syiera. That is definitely a failure. Same for you. Not just surface thoughts, just probe a little deeper into what's going through Syiera's mind, especially considering what has just happened as well.
Syiera will be thinking to herself, you know better than this. Stop being stupid. Think before you help. This isn't like you. Need to focus. And she's kind of just berating herself, and she's kind of just berating herself like that throughout the time.
Would it be fair to say that her thoughts fall to potential family and friends with what she's seen while unconscious as well?
She would think she should have listened to the advice of her ancestors and her elders instead of shooting off the cuff. She knows better.
Indeed.
She'd be following their advice from the get-go. She should have followed her roots. So.
Most definitely. Right. Reed. Wisdom save from you.
I'm going to take this at disadvantage because I'm sleeping in the chair.
If you wish, it's up
Not
to
the
you.
most comfort. Well, and I
This has
didn't
got
ever
nothing
take
to
my
do.
armor off.
This has got nothing to do with sleep either. This is just like this is. I mean, while you're sleeping, but this is. I mean, if you want to sleep in your armor, you're going to get the exhaustion no matter what. So you've got to bear that in mind. So the chair doesn't really factor into this. So the wisdom save can be a straight roll. It's up to you. That's pretty fitting. Same thing for Reed. What's going through Reed's mind? And again, deeper than surface thoughts. What is Reed really thinking about in this moment? Like about this place, about where he's at, personally, what's happening?
Reed's mind is locked to that shadow and how that whole situation went down. He's really never felt like completely helpless.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could do nothing.
Indeed. It probably is a very foreign feeling for Reed. He's usually, even though he's smaller of stature, he's generally the strongest in the group that he's ever been with. He's normally the protector. He's the one that's always on the front line, putting himself in harm's way. And to feel helpless would definitely be playing on him for sure. Not being able to do anything in that moment. So you focus on that figure and you see him, you see that figure in your mind's eye again, like the shadow, the tall, sort of masculine figure. Obviously can't make out any features, you don't know who it is, but just the sense of strength that they portray is huge, like it's massive. It's strength that you wish you could portray yourself, perhaps. Drake, wisdom save from you as well, please. Got the rolls tonight, guys.
I will use my.
You use your luck? Go for it. That's better. That's better. Look at that. That's a natty 20. You also sleep with no hassles. I don't need to know what you're thinking. Arcos, a wisdom save from you, sir. 19. Just the surface thoughts from you.
So he's still full of that self-doubt, but he's killed the last 3 things they've come up against.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a little bit of, he's like, I can do this. But in the back of his head, he's got the voice of himself as a younger man. He's like, no, you can't, you daft prick.
I would imagine that the self-doubt is waning anyway because of the recent battles. Especially with the dire wolves specifically. That battle in itself would have bolstered your confidence somewhat and probably reminded you of yourself when you were a younger man. The things that you dealt with your friends in Phandalin all them years ago, the things you faced, the creatures you faced, the men you faced. Back then, you never would have questioned your ability or your ability to help or be there for others. But this place is just, it's wrong. But there's something about this place specifically. But definitely that feeling of helplessness and not able to be any use to anyone or help is definitely waning. And I'd say by the morning, you would not have to be so concerned about it. You'll gain the benefits of a long rest. Reed, if you have slept in your armor, you get a long rest, but you'll also wake up with a level of exhaustion. You'll also remove one more day from your disadvantages, and I will probably remember that at the last minute that you have disadvantage on strength and dex for a bit, but it doesn't seem to matter too much at the moment anyway.
Well, now my exhaustion has it on everything, so.
Yeah.
So.
Because what level of exhaustion are you at?
I'm only at 1.
You should be at 1.
Yeah.
I'll put that on. Have you added that on your features?
Yep.
Okay.
I did it on the effects.
Cool. All right, works. So, next morning you wake. The rain has subsided. The ground outside is still wet. The windows are fogged over from the previous evening's storm. A little warmer today than it has been. As you all sort of rouse yourselves and get yourselves organised for the day, Reed is still snoring his head off in the chair at the window, in his armour. How do you guys wake him up? I mean, he doesn't look comfortable at all.
Wait, fuckhead. And he kicks the chair.
Reed slides off the chair and you wake with a start as your butt hits the floor.
Blank.
You know, you'd
Fucking
rest
worm's
better
gone.
if you don't sleep in your kit, mate.
I didn't want to get thrown against the wall. Well, not hard at least.
You're going to be fucking useless if you're too tired.
Oh, okay. Just like half asleep. Just, yeah. It's all good. Yeah.
Know how the others slept.
Better than me, I suppose.
Oh, shit. Oh. And then, like, just a realization that they got attacked in their room. And he just turns and runs out to go. check
Drake has
on
the
Rickon.
same. Drake has the same sudden thought.
As you both sort of head out to wake the girls are probably already woken by now and awake and up. And as you sort of burst through the door into their room, I mean, they're obviously ready, they're clothed, they're ready to go. And sort of they all look up at you with a bit of surprise as you burst into the room unannounced. They all look fine.
Morning.
Okay.
Everything's all right in here? I didn't
Yeah.
even fucking think about it last night. Oh, I'm so tired.
We had a good sleep.
I mean, we all slept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we miss something?
Drake is just rubbing his ribs a little.
Are you hungry?
Hmm.
Something
Right.
set upon Jarik. It was some sort of flesh.
Some flesh set upon Jarik.
Necrotizing fasciitis.
It's that
Flesh
foreskin.
eating
That's
monster.
that foreskin that came to get him.
I want to know what you guys were up to during the
It did
night.
look a little bit like it could have been.
That's why I giggled to myself when he said that, because I was like, fuck.
Oh
I
no.
wonder if it's because we didn't. Did you go to sleep straight away?
Pretty much. We chatted for about 10 minutes and then went to... Syiera was out like a light when we first got in here.
She was gone.
Right.
And at this point, you hear clanking in the other room as Reed fell over trying to get up.
Reed's like rolling down. He's fallen and he can't get up.
Is he okay?
And it's about then you hear from downstairs, are you all coming down for breakfast or are you going to sleep all day?
Coming down for breakfast. Be there in a second.
And as you guys prepare yourselves, get ready, eventually make it down for breakfast, Tatiana's cooked up a reasonable breakfast. Again, nothing over the top. I mean, this is a humble place. It's obvious that she doesn't have a lot, but She makes a decent breakfast for you all for the morning. And I'd say breakfast conversation is kind of limited. Tatiana doesn't say a whole lot. Obviously knowing what's about to happen. She's about to bury her father, so she seems a little sullen this morning. Eventually, breakfast is had, and she says to you all, I do thank you very much for helping me bury my father. I have got him almost in the wagon. If one of you gentlemen will please help me get him the rest of the way, so we may transport him to the church.
I can help with that. These
Oh.
no,
I'll help you
No.
with that as well.
right.
Yes,
We're used to slinging kegs.
Wait, we have to go to
Okay.
that
She gives
fucking
you a
church?
funny. She gives you a funny look.
Wait,
she-
wise. I didn't
she-
mean that like that.
Yeah, it's just a sack of
We're
blood
used
now.
to moving
keg.
things on the boat. And she
She's
smiles.
I'm gonna look at.
She gives you a polite smile, but a little bit of a confused look, but a polite smile nonetheless.
Reed's gonna look at her and be like, "We have to go to the fucking church." And I'm gonna look at Arcos, and then I'm gonna look at Jarik. And I'll be like, "You're fucking kidding, right?"
They were leaving the church. Perhaps it's. Let's just get this done and go home.
Okay, so Reed's just
uh,
about cruising for another twack upside the head with that attitude.
Tatiana, again, she stops and looks at you, Reed and Arcos, and says to you both, or says to all of you, yes, I probably should have explained. My apologies. As I said, this place is different. Every night, at about at the full moon, the height of the moon, Barovia dead rise and pay homage to their lord. It is nothing to be afraid of. It is just spirits.
Until they show up in your fucking room.
What do you mean? They are harmless.
Ed, ask him. I'm pointing at Jarik.
Ask what?
Go to say something, and then I shut my mouth again.
Is everything all right?
It'll be fine. Just the consequences of our actions, I think, in this case.
But as I said, this place is not the same as where you come from. Things are different here. Be mindful. Please. And she offers the way to Arcos and Ripple to lead you out to the barn where she has Father wrapped and ready to be put on the cart. And you can now understand why she hasn't been able to do it herself. He's a big man. Like, he was a big portly man. So he does have a bit of weight behind him, especially now that he's deceased. So it does take you to a little bit to get him on
bloating
the
has
wagon. Yeah,
I look at Arcos and I'm like, oh, does this remind you of anybody? Thinking back to being on the ship and probably having to offload people over the side.
Bootstrap Bill. Yep. Remember tossing him overboard a couple of times? Keep coming back?
Reminds me of all those times Grimshaw fell off the side and we had to drag his ass back up.
Ah, yes.
Oh, shit. I remember that.
Oh,
Well
yes.
done. Well done. So eventually, it doesn't take much for the two of you to get him onto the cart, and she thanks you very much. She hooks up a borrowed donkey, not a horse. And now that you're in the stable, she doesn't actually own a horse. It's just a farm donkey, just a little thing, and it's good enough to pull a cart. That's about it. And she hitches up the donkey to the cart and covers up her father with another piece of material, and leads the donkey round to the front of the house, where eventually the rest of you would meet them. You make your way through the narrow streets towards the church. Doesn't take long to get there. Once at the church, she leads you around the side of the church building itself, and not into the church specifically, but just around the side of the building and into the main churchyard. And you can see there's like a series of obviously gravestones, old and older, and a series of mausoleums and that towards the back. And she starts moving towards the back of the churchyard, and eventually pulls the cart up to one of these small mausoleums, and you can see the name Kolyanna carved into the top of this mausoleum. She takes out a ring of keys from a small bag on her side and walks up to the ornately made gates on the front of the small mausoleum, unlocks the big lock on it. The gates take a bit to swing open. They squeal loudly on the rusted hinges. You can tell this has not been used for some time. And then asks for your aid in bringing her father inside, where laid out there is, on the right-hand side, there are 3 or 4 sarcophagus there, and another 3 or 4 on the other side. 2 of them are empty. 3 of them, sorry, are empty on the left-hand side. The lids on 2 of them are down to the side. One is sort of half on and half off. And that one you can see emblazoned is the name of her father. And she guides you to placing him inside, and then asks you to help push the lid on. It's a heavy granite sort of top. It slides slowly but surely in place and then rests over top. And she just stands there for a moment, with her head bowed at the head of the sarcophagus, and maybe in silent prayer. You're not entirely sure, but she stands there for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, not saying anything.
Arcos will wait for a fair amount of time before he asks, will he rise?
She looks at you, not surprised by your question, surprisingly to you probably, but no look of surprise at all by your question. And she says, no, he shall not rise again.
Not his lord?
No.
That must be a comfort, I think.
He will rest, and rest well. Deserved it. He was a good man, for all his flaws.
I had a favorite song. I can play it and honor his memory for you. Or maybe you do?
Please, one of your choosing will be fine. Thank you.
Play it. A song I heard at the tavern we were at. So
What type of tune would you play? Would it be
something
upbeat
solemn and
or-
respectful.
Okay.
Something traditional that's, we're trying to get in good with her. So
Johnny Cash's Ain't No Grave.
I hurt myself.
I went to hell.
I went to hell. Oh shit. And she stands and quietly bows her head while you're playing your tune. And does anyone else say anything at this point? Or does everyone remain silent?
Would remain silent just out of respect.
Reed would probably take 1D.
Okay.
Bow his head.
Which is Reed's way of being respectful, I guess. And it's more of a warrior's way of doing things, to respect the dead. After a short time, and after the song is complete, she walks over to you and puts her hand on your shoulder, Syiera, and gives you a nod of recognition, and then slowly makes her way out of the mausoleum, as do the rest of you. She locks the gate behind you, and you can tell the lock is pretty sturdy. So even though she says that he won't rise, you get the impression that maybe like she is not 100% sure with the size of this lock that's on here, but I mean, who knows? Maybe just to stop grave robbers, which is not uncommon. As you guys leave the mausoleum and move back to the cart, you notice a man walking across the graveyard towards you. Very well-dressed man, very tall, starts just slowly striding over. He's got two other men either side of him walking towards you, and his hands are clasped in front of him. He's got a very noble sort of walk about him, noble air about him, in fact. And he walks up and walks directly up to Tatiana and bows his head to her and says something to her that you can't really hear. He's sort of speaking directly to her. And then turns to address the rest of you. Good day. It's nice to see that people here still help when help is needed. I understand that you aided the new burgomaster here of laying her father to rest. I wish to thank you for your aid. Oh, forgive me. Beg my pardon. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Prince Strahd, Lord of these lands. I have come to pay respects to one of my subjects who has fallen too soon, it seems, and to his family. I understand you are not from Barovia and have been visiting our land. And he, like you said, he definitely holds himself in a very regal manner. The two men standing next to him, one is Drow, seems very head up, sort of again broad-shouldered and very regal in the way that he presents himself to, maybe an advisor, and the other is in armor, carrying a spear and shield. You would get maybe a bodyguard or at least a soldier from his army, perhaps. But you can't really see this person's face. It's hidden by a large helm and fine armor.
Syiera will drop to the knee and bow. Question.
Yes.
Does he look like the doll
I was about to ask that too.
that the little boy had?
Dressed very similarly, yes.
Okay, similar clothing. All right.
Very similar. Like it not exact, but it has a familiarity about it.
Oh, curtsying kind of thing. Say, Lord, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Do the rest of you follow suit or no? Is the question.
Ripple doesn't know how to curtsy or anything. She'd just bow.
I mean, you respect Lady Morwen. She's nobility to you. She's your benefactor, so you would normally greet her with some form of respect. Do you show that same respect to this man or not?
Oh, yes,
is
absolutely.
the question.
Yeah, he kind of commands it from this.
He definitely has that.
Yep.
I mean, he presented himself as a prince. So
Ripple has pissed off enough people in the town. She doesn't need any more people to be upset with her. So
Okay.
she would offer respect.
Reed? I know what you're thinking, Reed. Well, I know what Dill's thinking. Freaking,
Does he look familiar?
I would say no. Like just from the shadow of the man you saw the previous day, you wouldn't be able to know whether this is even remotely the same. It was just a shadow.
My distance.
Yeah, and it was at a fair distance as well. Do the rest of you follow suit? Is the question?
He'd like nod, but he wouldn't take a knee.
Very cool.
Yep.
Ulvan,
He'd like
Buzz?
nods, partial, not a full bow, but like a partial.
Just,
like,
I mean, just any kind of
Yeah,
acknowledgement
just
of
respect,
respect
right.
is probably what I'm always looking for. Like, you get the impression he's not expecting any of you to kneel to him, because obviously you're not from his land, so he wouldn't command you as he would his own subjects. But he does have that air of, or that commanding sort of respect about him. So whether you show that or not is the question.
Did he call us guests in his land?
No, he did not.
Oh.
He called you strangers in his land.
Okay, well, because what was said yesterday, like, was like, it's close, but.
Yeah, gosh.
So Arcos goes, he nods his head just slightly. He says, "Thank you, Lord. We mean to finish our affairs here with the Burgomaster and be on our way home. We have perhaps overstayed our welcome, but thank you." And he sort of looks up at him, and like he has this habit of hanging on words, and he's just sort of staring at the prince as he says thank you.
So looking up at him, he holds your gaze too. Like when you look at him in the eye, he doesn't shy away. Like most nobles won't allow people to look them in the eye, or they find it offensive. You find that he holds your gaze quite intently, and to the point where it kind of makes you a little uncomfortable. But he has this presence about him, not just obviously royalty, but a strength. Just with his look. Drake?
I do what I do with the Duchess and hold out a very dirt-ingrained hand for a shake.
Do you step forward to do so?
No, I just stand there and hold my hand out. I would have stepped forward if it was Duchess.
He doesn't reciprocate. He gives you a nod of recognition, but does not reach his hand out. You can see his eyes sort of dart down to your dirt-caked hands, and you get the impression he's got no intent of touching your filthiness. Like, he is very clean. Like, you can tell, like, he is definitely nobility. He is clean. His clothes are clean. Despite what you see around you, this place is very dark and dirty and muddy, and even his boots are relatively clean. I mean, there is obviously mud on the bottom of them where he's been walking, but he does present himself as nobility. And as you sort of reach out the hand, the guard to his right does take half a step forward, and just a slight movement of his head, and the guard stops and moves back into his original position.
If the guard moved forward as the guard, like, it'd be just reactionary with Jarik. I would take like half a step. My hand
would go from a position waiting for a shake to just sliding out in front of Reed.
Noted. And he says, well, you are not from here, obviously, but you are welcome to stay in my lands. Say you have outstayed your welcome. Maybe it's you just not got to know the people here very well yet. And it gives you that, again, it's a very soothing, it's kind of weird. He commands this noble presence, but he also has this tone about him that's very friendly and very almost fatherly in a lot of respects. And it would set all of you to relative ease, which would, I don't know, whether it'd make you feel kind of weird or not, but it just has a real familial tone to it. But if you are to leave, that is your free will to do so. Where is it that you are from, may I ask?
We are from Daggerford, Lord.
Daggerford. He turns to the man to his left, and the man whispers something in his ear. Ah, the realm of Faerun. I've heard of this land. You are a long way from home, are you not? How was it you found yourself in my lands?
Well, you see, we're hunting some wolves.
Wolves? There are many
Yeah.
wolves in these lands.
Pretty big ones.
I've seen many large wolves in my day. I've hunted them as well. Well, good luck with your hunt. We may meet again, we may not. But know you are welcome here, if you decide to stay. And he gives you a slight bow again, before turning back to Tatiana and whispering something in her ear, and she nods, and she, like, he takes her hand in his, and you can see that they have an acquaintance at the very least. And he gives her a sharp sort of military style nod, and then turns on his heels. And as he walks, like he walks with a military step, which I would say, Reed, you probably recognize in yourself, that real regimented step. And eventually disappears around the front of the church with his two companions, leaving you in the churchyard by yourselves, or with Tatiana.
Syiera would not have stopped kneeling until he is safely walking away. And then she will slowly rise and look at Reed and be like, wolves? Really? Really?
What? You want me to lie to the guy?
Syiera,
We were investigating farmers.
I'm beginning to think
what-
you know something about
attacking-
these lands that we do not. Why the low bow?
Do you remember the doll? And what the little child said about it?
I mean, you don't know him from Adam.
Adam.
You know, from like around home.
Fucking Adam.
Guy.
Who the fuck is Adam?
That's
It's a trap.
The farmers.
Adam's apples, though. They were great.
Oh.
I mean, why were we looking at farmers? Because wolves were fucking them up. I didn't tell them it was werewolves.
I
It was just
don't
wolves.
think you needed to. Looking at his
I mean,
face.
He's just a guy that has a
He
kingdom.
he is not just a guy. He is absolutely.
Daddy?
He's a prince.
I mean, he's got like Arcos. Maybe he's like your
He's
father.
got daddy issues. No, I don't.
Maybe I do. Okay, maybe I do.
That's his backstory. He's looking for daddy.
The Dilf.
The Dill Daddy.
That's your
Oh,
name from now on,
jeez.
Dill. Dilf.
Oh shit.
That's how you really feel, Arcos.
So
I will
Arcos
in
has
prose later on.
asked you a pretty pointed question, Syiera, and I would say in a rather accusatory tone as well.
Roll
Arcos accuses
insight
her.
while I think about what to say.
Sure.
She accuses me.
I tell you what, Arcos roll insights. Syiera roll either roll a deception or perception privately,
Oh,
and we'll see what we'll compare the two rolls.
hell
Oh,
yeah.
I'll roll my insight publicly, though.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
roll your insight publicly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I might use my luck roll.
Yep, you can use luck roll for that if you wish.
Don't fuck me. Oh, it fucked me so
It
hard. It
fucked
gave me
you.
a 1.
Fucked you so hard.
I will say,
Ah.
with
No,
that, I'll
no, he fucked you because he's dead.
Mm.
I'll say
See, he liked it.
the little boy gave us a doll with the exact kind of clothing that he had. And he is saying he's a prince. We've been not doing so well around the town. I think it would be helpful if we have the highest possible etiquette we could possibly have till we get out of here.
And I mean, you've got no reason to disbelieve her. Like, her explanation is 100% plausible. You remember the child talking about the prince and how he wanted to be like the prince in the doll, and the clothing kind of matches. It's very, very similar. And her explanation about wanting to keep people on board until you get out of here, I mean, makes perfect sense to you.
You know what? I'll make a deal with you, Argos. Once we get out of here, you can ask me anything you want and I'll tell you.
That is unnecessary. I've been a bit brash with that comment, and if we do not trust each other, we will not get out of here. So I apologize. And you are right. We have caused a few issues with the people in town with being impolite. So I apologize.
Syiera's used to being called an outcast and a gypsy and all this stuff, so it's not really lost on her about. But the trust thing means a lot. So, but she will kind of try to hide her face.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah, because Arcos is relatively new to the group too, and so he probably hasn't seen that firsthand. The rest of the group, I would say, in the past has seen some of the slights that Syiera has dealt with. So as being a gypsy, like, gypsies are not really looked at fondly in most societies. So I would say that it's fair to say at this point. At this point, Tatiana, again, sort of letting you sort of converse amongst yourselves for a bit, and then seeing that sort of a break in the conversation, sort of wanders over and says to you, well, I thank you very much for aiding me burying my father. I do appreciate it, and as promised, I offered to pay you. And she hands a pouch over to you, Syiera.
I almost want to give Syiera a dig in the ribs and say she doesn't have much. Maybe we should just do it because we can.
I don't know, Syiera, would that?
Oh, you
Syiera's a
bitch.
gypsy.
I know.
I will grit my teeth the entire time as I look at Tatiana and be like, perhaps we should not take your coins.
And Syiera forces it into your hand and puts both her hands around yours and just looks you very intently in the eye and just says, I insist you take it. Please.
Okay, take it.
Thank you very much for your... I don't even bat an eye.
If you have more health potions we could take. Instead,
that
exchange?
unfortunately I cannot help you with. Sadly, that aid I gave you last night was the last that I had. Such things are very scarce here in Bereska.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Bet that guy has some.
You would be
As I
mindful
point
to be
towards the church.
respectful. Right. He is my sovereign, after all. He looks after us. He is a good man.
So that's the guy they all march to?
Yes, they pay homage to the Lord of these lands. It is, as I said, this place is strange to many outsiders, but it is the way of things.
I'm about to stand on Reed's foot if he opens his mouth again. I know he's in armor, but I'm just to say.
That won't shut him up. You have to stand on his mouth for that.
Oh,
I mean, I'd say something else, but
I mean, he clearly likes it. He wants to be dominated. I can tell.
got little man syndrome, okay?
Well, if the spirits follow him, that's good enough for me. Shall we be going?
Yeah.
Yes,
let's
you must
go.
make haste and return to your home as quickly as you
Yeah.
can.
Don't we have to bury these damn kids?
Thank you for having us, and I'm pulling Reed along. Walkie-talkie away.
Yeah.
She already knew.
we're in a perfectly good
Second.
graveyard. We could do it here.
Keep- Take them back with us.
Windmill.
Daggerford is much nicer than this.
Yes, I agree.
A nice spot
Trap
on
their
the hill.
souls here.
Plenty of windmills and shit in Daggerford. It's fine. Let's go.
I mean, I'd be glad to study them. Could tell me
fuck's
about how
sake.
long they would be here.
The windmills?
You will
No.
not study those birds.
You're
You're
some
not
cruel
for
fuckers.
desperation.
We made a promise to that man.
Which man?
He was no man.
No.
Their
Honestly,
father.
I'm not liking the more that the longer we are here, the less I'm liking this place. I'm with the captain on this one. I feel we need to leave.
Walking and talking, I'm assuming.
Hmm.
I think they'll be lucky to get a 2-star rating from me.
Ah,
So as you walk and talk and make your way eastward, I'm
Downtown?
assuming? Make your way downtown, definitely. Do you
Who's making the sandwich?
move
Walking
east
fast.
is the question.
Face
faceless
the
pass.
past and I'm homebound.
I fucking hope so.
Starting to play on my lute.
Hate this fucking place.
We'll go back to this map. So east
It's not a
leading-
lute, it's just a piano and it's floating along at the as we're walking.
Which direction you headed? East or west out of town?
Which way did we come in? I can't remember.
We were
East.
told to go
East.
east.
East is the
Oh,
way you
then we'll
came
go
into
east.
town.
We'll do
We go
east.
east.
Okay. We'll
So
go
you
It's
head
also
out of
where the
town.
witch hag lady went.
That is the direction in which the old lady did flee.
That's
Oh,
fine. We don't
last
care.
time you
Not,
saw
not,
her.
not about her. We just want to get
Yeah.
out of here.
We're not children. She won't stuff
No.
us into a duffel bag.
So
You
you
wanna think
move
about it,
eastward.
Reed?
Can
Fuck that bitch.
try.
Two of you a child size. What the fuck?
I mean, no, he's a little bit bigger than a child. You
Eight
move eastward
Five,
out of
three.
Bereska, and you follow the road as you did coming in. So you kind of know the way. Just now, it's a little brighter than it was the day the day you arrived here. The rain is not as heavy, so it's a little more pleasant a journey this time than it was previously. And you weren't being chased. We're not being chased this time, so that definitely helps. Although the howl, the baying of a wolf can be heard occasionally in the distance, the corps of ravens overhead as usual. The mist is still relatively thick, but in the daytime with the mist, you can make out the outline of the castle above the village of Bereska behind you as you continue walking. Eventually, you make it to the edge of the forestry, looking down over the village where you first really realized that you weren't anywhere near Daggerford anymore. The forest thickens either side of you as you now follow a narrower, muddier road. You walk for maybe another hour, 2, 3, seemingly endless road as you continue to walk and walk and walk. Eventually, you're faced with the clearing that you broke into when you first arrived in these lands. Now, which direction do you wish to go? You are essentially looking at a stand of trees. The mist is relatively thick all around you and amongst these trees. The road kind of does snake, sort of. It's kind of there, but not. Almost swallowed by the trees and the fog.
I feel we have to keep following this road because I think that's going to take us out. That's how we came in, is it not?
No, you came through
Can't
the
remember.
trees.
We came through the trees.
Taking
Oh,
a road before.
Our best navigator. We would know who's kind of like survival-ish, won't we, as a team? Maybe.
Was Ripple
yeah.
the
You
navigator?
can-
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
You can-
Ripple is the navigator, but I,
I mean,
can't see any stars, so
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure
so-
out which
Can I
way
refer
we
to-
came in from.
Can I refer to my maps, my hand-drawn maps?
Just fuck shit up.
That's right. Zarik made some hand-drawn maps as you were
did.
traversing through this area. Looking at
I just
the
fuck shit
hand-drawn
up.
maps that you drew, just to try and get a bearing, looking around it, you're pretty certain northeast was the direction you came through the trees, like from the northeast, from where you're currently standing.
Actually, I think I'm start in that direction.
Would we
Yes,
see
Rick.
any sign of that very large wolf where it was like had stopped and like was like pacing and
Make a,
such? This
make a
few
survival check
days?
for me. 16. There are a lot of tracks. Like there are lots of lupine. There's bear tracks. There's deer. Like there are a lot of animal tracks here. It's kind of hard to really determine what is from what animal. It's been days since you were here last. There's definitely
That makes
lupine
sense.
tracks there and large ones, but it's just kind of hard to tell exact, like
Right.
searching for an exact set of footprints. And
Is it like a
Zarik,
trail then?
not really.
Or just kind of
It's just
sporadic?
they're kind of scattered everywhere. Zarik sort of points in a direction, says, "I think it's this way," and sort of starts heading in that general direction.
Oh well, let's go this way.
Find something.
Just rolled this out of interest.
I've got to find something of my own here for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves while I find it.
Hi.
Hi.
Ah.
No, Ripple. Jarik went that way.
Ruh-roh, we're gonna get lost.
She ended up in one of those Scooby-Doo situations where we just run through different doors.
Yeah, and then we find the creature and rip off its mask, and it's Orvan.
That
Oh.
that farmer from the beginning with the busted leg.
Yeah.
We would have got away with it if it weren't for the short guys and the three women and the goofy guy with the claws.
Reading my
Free
backstory.
merchant.
Oh boy. The daddy fan.
Oh God. Sakes.
It's
Big
a good
fan
thing
of
people
Daddy.
can't see us on stream, I think.
No one can see, but she has a big daddy fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
big
daddy. Right.
So that's because she's a big daddy fan. Bye, shop.
You move into the mists, into the trees. Start moving forward. I need everyone to make a survival check for me as you start looking for potential ways through this fog and trees. Jarik with this.
I should have made this at disadvantage.
You should have made it at disadvantage. Yes.
So my 16 wasn't good, anyways.
Yeah. So your
Mine
survival
was
sucks.
shit.
So
I only have +1.
Arcos, Drake definitely. Syiera, yeah, that'd be about it, I think. You managed to find what seems to be a familiar path. You spend the next hour moving in that general direction. Then you stop. So this is probably, I'd say, about the area you really. Your hand-drawn maps don't really help you anymore. You're in an area which is not familiar. The trees have sort of closed in around you. And you're looking around, sort of turning in each direction, and you're not entirely sure you know where you are at the moment. You've got an idea of where north lies because you do have two former sailors in your group, even without stars, you can sort of see where the sun is sort of coming through the clouds and mist cover above you, so you can get a rough idea of where north is, although it is difficult. You walk for another hour. Fog gets thicker and thicker. The trees get bigger and taller to the point where now it almost seems dark in this area. I'm going to need everybody to make a Constitution save, please. We're looking for
Or save, like, or
15s. Con save, yep. So we're looking for 15s to pass this. Doesn't look like many 15s in that lot of saves, guys.
Like
So,
none.
who's
Yeah,
the highest? Jarik is the highest. Jarik, one by one, you watch your companions slow, stumble, and fall, becoming unconscious. Syiera first, then Ripple, then Orvan, then Reed, then Arcos.
Is this sleep?
So this is just, you just fall unconscious.
Okay.
You're just no longer able to walk. It's almost like an exhaustion, almost, but it's just you fall unconscious. Jarik, you manage to keep yourself going for another 2 or 3 steps. You stop to turn to see what's happened to your friends, and you also fall unconscious. Blackness ensues. All of you, collectively, you find yourselves standing in blackness. No sky, no trees, no fog, just pure blackness. Each of you individually now hear a voice in your head, a man's voice, not one that's familiar to you. It simply says, "Welcome to my home. You are here to stay. We are going to have such fun. All of us. Try find your way out. When you are ready, come to my home. Have dinner with me. And we shall discuss the ways in which you can serve me." And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Well, shit.
I rolled to seduce.
It is your bardic right. Let's go.
It wouldn't be a game if I didn't.
Roll to seduce, yeah. But that is tonight's session, episode 9 of Land of the Lost, the Burgomeisters Burial. Thank you, players, for joining us for another session this week. We'll see you guys again in a couple of weeks for the next one. Obviously, I'll post it in the Discord if you have plans.
It's
Don't you
Hunter's birthday.
me. I don't care.
Okay.
I will put it in the thing and see who's available.
All right.
He'll
We
be
will.
asleep.
Well, no, he won't be. He'll be up with his mate watching movies, no doubt.
There you go.
But we'll hash out the details close to the time. But I'll put it in the Discord. I know this time of year things start to get a little bit hectic, and I normally like to take a break anyway over Christmas, New Year. So we may or may not make the next one. If we can all make it to the next one, we'll probably take a pause until after New Year. Give everyone pretty much the whole of December and into January just to do the family thing and all that sort of stuff. Work dues become a thing. Work dues become a thing. I know half your family.
You are my
I
family.
hope so. Jeez.
But thanks, chat, for hanging out with us as well. Good to see you guys stopping by. As I said, couple of weeks. Keep an eye on the Discord for announcement. If any changes are made, it'll be there. If not everyone can make it to next one, we'll pause it there until after New Year anyway. So we'll see how we go. So we will be taking a break at some point for Christmas and into New Year. The same will be for P2. We'll discuss that with the P2 group tomorrow. Be the same sort of deal. But should be fun. The next session, I haven't really decided where I'm going to wake you up yet. Whether you're going to wake up in the forest or somewhere else. Could be interesting.
We're going to wake up in the river. Don't lie to us.
You're going to wake up with
That's
something in
fine
your
with me.
butt.
I can swim in the river.
Daddy?
All right, that's
dear.
us. We're out, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. Bye.
I don't know why I'm waving.